Hello, this is Stone of Shame, I think.
Hi, and this is the Stone of Triumph.
But normally I'm known as Regdrin. Let's go take a look at the next battle.
Mm-hmm.
We've already kind of mentioned that this has a couple of spatial anomalies, but not really anything that changes our builds, usually.
Yeah, it's nothing that affects us, actually.
Yeah, so I decided to put shields on our ships for a change. After that last battle where, well, we don't talk about that one anymore.
Yeah, it's done. Nobody cares.
Well, our ships have shields, but my cruisers do not have armor. Why would I do that? Well, let's take a look at one of them.
Order, order.
Order, order. Let's see. I think the rocket cruiser is a good example of this. There's no room for it. There's no room for armor. There's like one slot, but you can't get decent armor off of one slot. So I put a nanobot repair system on there.
Okay. Have fun with that.
Well, the thing is, normal repair systems are cheaper, but the nanobots recover health at over twice the speed. So there's a better chance that all of the repair supplies will be used, or at least most of them. And 490 health is not bad for one slot.
Mm-hmm.
That's my reasoning anyway.
But what if you get attacked by fighters?
Well, fighters generally do not specifically target cruisers.
Mm-hmm.
Our frontline cruisers may be swept by a couple of laser shots as they pass over them to hit our fighters or frigates or whatever, but the nanobot repair system should be more than enough to deal with that damage like that.
Okay.
At least in theory.
Mm-hmm.
And the rest of my ships have gotten this treatment, except for my frigates, which I've altered in a different way. So let's find our, let's see, sweeper frigate. It is considerably more expensive now, but that's because it deflects fighter rockets.
Mm-hmm.
Same goes for the tractor frigates and my plasma frigates.
Okay.
So let's hope that sort of strategy works. We are fighting the Order, a worthy foe.
Because they are us.
Because they are us. So let's take a look at their formation.
They've got 3.5 fighter squadrons.
Yes, and they're in a V. So hitting the upper or lower part of the V seems like it would be a good idea. I'm more inclined to hit the upper side because I can pretty easily grab the free frigates up there.
Mm-hmm.
Also, my general strategy is going to be a little different this time. I'm not using any frontline cruiser laser cruisers.
Mm-hmm.
Also, regarding the supplies,
They don't matter.
well, I use reflective shields, but I'm not going to field 10 cruisers on this map, I think.
No, that's your problem.
I guess it is my problem. There's technically room for that many.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to put a couple of beam cruisers here and there, and a bunch of rocket cruisers, which I feel I didn't give enough of a chance last time.
Mm-hmm.
Because I want to see how well they worked when target painters were involved.
Okay. So that's 6 cruisers?
Yes, that's going to be my front line. I think at least one backline missile cruiser seems like a good idea as well.
Mm-hmm.
And since fighters are involved, let's bring out the combination of a tractor, frigate, and sweepers. A number of sweepers.
Yes.
They're still fairly inexpensive.
Mm-hmm.
I decided to switch their build to the Order frigate that gets an armor bonus.
Yep. So they aren't immediately incinerated.
Well, more like so it's less expensive to get them above rocket range.
Ah, good. You have chained your ships together.
Yes, exactly. Chaining your ships together is always a great idea. I'm not actually chaining all of my ships together, just that handful.
Mm-hmm.
Aside from that, we of course want to use some of those plasma frigates as soon as I find them. They are not as cheap as I would like, and they don't have as many plasma guns as I would like. But you use the designs that you are given.
Okay. So, are you using any fighters?
Why, yes. I am going to use order target painter fighters to make the anti-fighter missile frigates a little more effective, and also to draw any fighters that are assigned to attack mine as a lure into the tractor beam, and hopefully we'll sweep them out that way.
Okay.
Right, well that looks pretty reasonable to me.
I'd say it looks very risky, so let's go with it.
Okay, sure, why not? Let's see. And I want to make sure that I attack the upper half, so let's move all of our stuff a little further up. Alright, looking good, let's go. Oh, actually I want to set priority. I don't think frigates should be the top priority for plasma.
Yeah, you better set that on all of your plasmas.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Cruisers are their main targets.
Yes.
Right, let's go. What did I forget?
To set your cruisers to not shoot at fighters?
I thought I already did that. But sure, let's go back and make sure.
Deployment.
Let's
okay.
These aren't, and this isn't.
Okay, let's do it.
Well, since there's quite a bit of space between the two sides, let's speed it up a fair bit.
Oh, looks like they're not using their fighters offensively.
Well, they sort of are. They have them escorting this one frigate that's charging forward, so close enough. There's a small delay on it.
Yeah, there was one challenge map I did where they had like 4 squadrons of fighters orbiting one cruiser.
What kind of fighters were they?
Rebels.
I know, but like, what weapons did they use?
I forget.
Well, actually, I didn't know, but that was what I was interested in. Well, we don't have to guess what's going to happen here.
Yep. Fighters are going to attack you.
Yep.
Okay.
Also, any lucky hits from my beam cruisers will likely kill them, because I don't think a fighter can handle radiation damage very well. Alright, so it looks like at least some of my rockets are hitting them.
Yep.
So that's good news for us. The idea behind this formation is that since the rockets have somewhat larger range, they'll shut down the enemy shields in time for my beam cruisers to start irradiating them.
Oh, hey, it's working.
And it looks like more fighters are coming in, but those seem to be more or less under control.
Well, here come the frigates, but they're beams.
Yeah, they're beams. It feels a little unfair because these beam frigates were actually the second punch. It's just that the first punch didn't hit quite hard enough.
It didn't accomplish anything, actually.
They might be set to target my frigates, though, so I'd better not take too long to kill them.
Oh yeah, that's what they're doing.
Yep, well, at least my frigates aren't completely defenseless. And it looks like my beam cruisers are actually good at taking those frigates out. Those radiation beams have pretty good tracking on them.
Yeah, they're kind of the same as cruiser lasers in a way.
Yeah. They don't have that much of a punch against shields, but they have other benefits. I think they're fairly well balanced, which is a step up from the usual faction-specific weapons, which are usually not very good at all.
Yeah, the faction-specific weapons really improved in the DLC.
Yeah, it would be... I think I'd feel better if the DLC also either gave more or improved the current faction-specific weapons for the older factions.
Mm-hmm.
Ouch, I took a cruiser hit right there.
Yeah, well, you have no armor, so...
Well, yeah, but the shields are holding out long enough. I will say that this map seems to employ lots of weapons that can pierce shields. So, in that circumstance, I do agree with you when you were talking about how later maps have better ship setups on the enemy side.
Mm-hmm.
But it looks like we're taking them out one group at a time, even though not completely without losses. It looks like my formation is good enough to deal with what's left here.
Yep.
By the way, the music they're using right now is kind of the generic music they use in Gratuitous Space Battles. Unfortunately, they didn't make any specific music for the DLC factions, and I think this is also the music you get in challenge maps.
Mm-hmm. Well, they did make a specific DLC music for the Swarm and the Outcasts.
Oh, okay. Good to know. It looks like radiation weapons that just hit the shield don't cause any radiation damage.
Okay.
A spectacular... Oh, I already did that one.
Yep.
So it looks like the rocket cruisers are now my most effective ship design. I guess that's the difference a target painter makes.
Mm-hmm.
So we finally found a way to make rockets useful.
Yeah, like, speaking of faction-specific weapons, like, the Nomads have a version of the fast missile launcher that has the same range as, like, regular missiles, but lower damage.
Oh, neat. Interesting. Well, speaking of missiles, it's a good thing they don't have any equivalent of the Rebel missile cruisers, otherwise I'd probably be in some trouble.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's see what's next.
Yeah, so let's take a look at that information and then make decisions.
No, you fight to the death.
Are you serious?
No, you know what the book says. Strike where the enemy is strongest.
Oh, yeah, right. I think it made some mention of that in the book, at least. It is definitely a thing that is discussed. So we got 4 squads of fighters that are going in immediately, and more squads around the cruisers, and they're all bunched up in the middle, so maybe this placement of mine is not necessarily the best.
Yeah, I think you're just gonna have to fight them head-on.
Yeah, so with that in mind, since I can't take them just a few at a time, and I'm not sure I can beat them without losses, I'm gonna go reconfigure a little bit. This fight is gonna look a little different than the last one, so let me think about all this.
You only have one less cruiser than they do?
Yeah. But I'm thinking maybe, one less rocket cruiser in front, and one more missile cruiser in back would work well here.
Okay.
Maybe another plasma frigate or 2 as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because I want a really strong backline here. I think 5 ships should be enough front line, probably.
Okay. Front line without armor.
Yeah, but armor... I usually only use 1 or 2 layers of armor, so it doesn't matter that much anyway.
Okay.
And I think... Let's see. They were using a lot of squads on me, though. On the other hand, I am basically immune to rockets, so maybe this will work out anyway. We'll see.
Sure. Go for it.
Alright, so let's speed up just enough to see what happens when all those fighters reach us.
They seem rather slow, though.
Well, some of them are. We don't need to be concerned with slow fighters, of course, but it's pretty clear that not all of them are slow. In fact, it looks like there's some anti-fighters in there. It's tough to say. We're definitely painting them, so that's good news.
Yeah, it looks like they're not really going to be able to do anything to anything.
Yeah. So, it seems that this formation generally works out. If they were assigned to attack my cruisers, they might actually do some damage, but who does that?
Crazy person, I guess.
Huh, did they actually kill all my fighters already?
Yeah, it doesn't matter that much.
I guess. They're trying to attack my frigates, and I guess it's a good thing I made them fighter-proof.
Well, proof against any weapon people will actually use.
Yeah, they're not torpedo-proof, but no one cares about that.
Okay, well, the enemy fighters are done for, so now it's time for the main fight.
Yeah, this formation is actually not what I was hoping for. I hit them further up than I would have liked, so this cruiser over here is likely done for. And I'd prefer not to take one-for-one trades here.
But that's how you win battles.
There are some circumstances where a one-for-one trade is okay, but this is not one of them.
You know, like trading one frigate for one cruiser.
Or if you're playing as the Swarm, then maybe it's okay. Okay, I actually don't know how this is gonna go.
You're going to win.
You sure about that?
Yeah.
And what brings you to that conclusion, if I may ask?
Experience, pattern recognition.
Okay, like what patterns are you seeing here, is what I'm asking.
Well, you recently took out 2 cruisers for your 1 loss, so...
Okay, so unlike me, you're actually counting things that are happening.
Yes, I'm paying attention. Plus, the enemy only really has cruisers, plus you still have your line of frigates.
Yeah, that's true. Those plasma frigates are hitting pretty often with those things.
Yes.
And they're kind of not being challenged. I'm thinking it's probably a good idea to have some sort of cruiser designed to hit an enemy's frigate backline.
Mm-hmm.
I think I remember doing something like that in Gratuitous Space Battles too.
Yep.
Okay, well, it seems your estimation was correct.
Uh-huh.
So even though my fleet placement wasn't the best, things worked out.
Mm-hmm. Hey, more useless honor.
More useless honor.
Isn't that a metaphor?
Well, well put. I consider it much like points in other games. They're not necessary most of the time, but it's a nice little thing there for style. Oh, this time the missile cruisers took the top thing.
Yes.
And rocket cruisers were at the bottom. I wonder what changed.
Mm-hmm.
Well, or maybe just all of my ships were effective and this was slightly less so than the others. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, keep in mind, you had more than 1 missile cruiser.
Yeah. I guess they just worked out this time. Well, now that the battle is done, it is time for a word from our sponsor. Now, let's get a frigate design and show off something. Go for it.
The frigate tractor beam. Nothing to do with agriculture, this tractor is perfect for freezing enemy fighters and slowing enemy frigates. Keep them still long enough and any idiot gunner will hit them. Tractor beams, because you know your gunners are idiots.
Yes. Indeed. It reminds me of a movie of some sort.
Yes.
And to bring up another one, I believe there's a higher power version of the tractor beams.
Yes.
let's see if they're available here. Why, yes. Supercharged Tractor Beam. Tractor beams are great for suddenly dragging fighters to a standstill so you can shoot them. But when you're up against super fast fighters, only a super strong tractor beam will suffice. Have you ever been in a situation where a normal tractor beam wasn't enough?
Not that I can think of.
Me neither. Like, they slow down rocket fighters, and that's enough to kill them, and rocket fighters are the fastest ones around.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that just about does it for now, and it is our final battle with the Order. So, next time, we are going to play as the Nomads, because that's the last one that we haven't done.
Yep.
So we'll talk a bit about those and how they work next time.
Yep.
Later, everyone.
See ya.